Some more things I forgot to say. First of all, if you could check your cell phones to make sure that those are off. The feeling that the sound of a ringing cell phone will vary in here. And also that the only rule is obviously for open mic is that you have to follow the rules, and the only rule is really 3 to 5 minutes per reading. The next reader is Dr. Joseph Uphoff.
I'm going to read some theoretical material and then a poem. This is called The Ethnographic Nature of Movement. The various terms expressing the ideology of the movements naturally lead to preconceptions. As each movement progresses and the words become titles, they lead to anticipations based on the popular expressions of the movement. So a word such as expressionism, surrealism, or relativity has a natural territory through definition that becomes somewhat constricted by example. The reader experiencing the word and its use in an abstracted mode of receptivity may not realize the special nature of the context. Such a person asserts that qualities found in examples of the movement must be applied to all entries aspiring to participate. This leads to a collection of ethnic words in an eclectic anthology that cannot encompass the true potency of the movement potential for exploration. This thematic restriction creates a style of sub-movement, which is not invalidated as a norm by the poetic scheme imposed. However, the essential meaning of the word that has been made the title of the movement will have a different ontogeny of import for someone who hears about the movement without being exposed to examples. The impulse to creativity for this person will be more spurious than that demanded by adherents. It might require that the creative effort provide inspiration based upon the subjective capability. Thus, the movement naturally expands in strange ways, as it should. The membership is based on the desire of the artist or upon a challenge to compose. Carrying the ontology a step further, the creative impulse may deliberately explore an expansion of territory of the word and associated movement. The induction then reaches for a permutation by which past works are criticized in comparison to the strange new example. This leads to a wealth of original ideas which carry the dynamics of the movement onward. It is in the nature of eccentricity to take the familiar meaning and the conventional norms of the movement into the deductive logic of metaphorical synthesis. This is the third range of the ontology. The first two expansions move from rote convention to the philosophical essence of potentiality and meaning. The last applies absurdity to generate a perspective which challenges acceptability by the presence of the unacceptable. It must at some point of controversy be conceded that the validity of the metaphor justifies an inclusion which otherwise has only the reason for its existence to explain an apparently arbitrary inclusion. In this sense, the loss of momentum, which transfers the movement from contemporary to historical, is immediate by convention and debatable in philosophical investigations. The dynamic generation of metaphorical usage can resurrect the ideology to continue the process by an essentially infinite series. Therefore, each movement should be considered to have three phases. The developmental phase moves from the closure of rote convention to a continuation by semantic analysis. The theoretical phase moves by controversy through debate, and the pragmatic phase is non-terminating, to move by usage through the infinite variety of possible and attractive metaphors. This is a poem called Observation-Inducing Frustration. As the years are traversed, as they are followed, the ideas become well worn, understood and defied by the imposition of a game, very like the death game. The poems touch on demise, and this, it is realized, constitutes the meaning of the norm. It is not the form of extenuation as exploration seeks to find the meaning that transcends frustration, only self-satisfaction has provided this. Death is not in the poem. The world is a cemetery. There is a meaning to frustration, an intangible result. The familiar becomes the weakness. The game owns the powers of the demon, who must be incredibly satisfied that success can be attained so easily. The patient scholar shrugs a weight of shadows off of the mistakes that ruin extemporaneous results, while in appearance meek natures wander disconsolately. Yet there is not death in the poem, there is joy. The mistakes are sanded away, and the sand becomes the warm beach left by the logic of careful work. Not a few hours, but a few lifetimes, fewer lives. Thank you.
The next reader is Michael Ferguson.